Hey guys, welcome back to the Venus Vortex. I am Kazi. I am your tarot specialist and astrologer here on the channel. And today we are deep diving into the Taurus partial lunar eclipse that is happening on the 19th of November, 2021. And it's going to affect you all the way until October 28th, 2023. So it's a very, very hectic energy. And that's why this video is happening for you. So I'm also going to cover aspects to Saturn as well, which does not conjunct the moon, but is going to affect the overall energy for the next 2 years as well. So that will also be included in this video today. So basically we're going to talk about all the aspects of the moon. So this will be everything that this energy is affecting. That doesn't mean that other planets aren't doing their own things as well, but for the purpose of making this video nice and easy for you all to follow, that's definitely what we're going to be focusing on. If you'd like further videos on the rest of the energy for 2022 and 2023, comment below and let me know so that way I can make some more videos for you on this sort of related content. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about when it comes to Taurus moons and what they all mean, I have created another video so you can check that one out as well. It's got all of the basics that you need to know to understand this transit for those of you who are beginner astrologers or just wanting to know a little bit more of a background information about that. So go and check that out. I've also have it linked to the end of this video for you as well, so for your convenience. Okay, so the first aspect that we're going to explore is Sun in Scorpio in opposition to this moon transit. We're going to find some really cool positives. So the first thing is that we can actually solve more crimes relating to sexual abuse, rape, murder, and violence. So particularly long-winded cases that have taken a very long time to resolve, they will actually be solved more likely under this energy. You'll also find that you have more creativity in the bedroom. So sex and sexual desires will be a lot easier for you to express and have a deeper emotional connection to. So think of things like tantric sex, for example. You're also going to experience more downloads coming through you in dreams. So make sure that you keep a journal of this particular time, because you're going to find that you're going to get a lot of information, a lot of spiritual information about what to do under these transits for the next couple of years. And you really need to listen to that, because that's your intuition talking to you, but through the subconscious mind, because that's one of the things that Scorpio is kind of in charge of. It's the things that you can't see and the intangible. And that includes 95% of your brain. So this will give you really creative ways of being able to achieve your dreams. It'll also be an illumination of lies and deceit. So you'll actually be able to see through people's lies a lot more easily under this kind of transit for the next 2 years. So you'll find that you'll become a massive detective on people who are manipulative and controlling and abusive. It will give you an amazing intuition with that. Another positive aspect is it can also bring cool fashion trends like gothic styling. It can also bring, plus size models into the forefront and be more socially accepted by the people. So shout out to my curvy girls. On the negative aspects of this transit, what we may find is that there is a bit of a disconnect between the body and the mind. So what we can find is that what we desire to do and what we think is best for us are at a bit of a crossroads. And so it's very hard to get those energies working together. This energy also means that we often chase the money bag, but it can be actually quite difficult for us to get it on an individual scale. It's actually more likely that we're going to inherit wealth under this transit. So you have to think creatively about how you can get other people to give you money. This can also be a giant separation between mothers and fathers, so such as divorce and breakdowns relationship-wise, but it can also mean a death of a mother or father figure. There'll also be huge pressure for you to conform against your value systems as well. What you may find is that there are also monetary rewards for breaking these values. So just be mindful that there may be a lot of incentives, but you will be selling a part of your soul in doing these sorts of activities. So really, really consider that this will cause death to other people, harm to the other people, and even if it is for monetary gains, it will eventually karmically come and hurt you. Okay, so the positive aspects that this has to Mercury, which is in opposition to this lunar eclipse, is that it increases gifts of sarcasm. So we could have some really amazing satiric pieces coming our way. We could also have amazing gifts in writing and speeches in particular, and being able to influence the masses. So the beauty of this is that if you're looking for a career change, you might want to go into writing, for example. Or if you have any of these projects, you could actually release at this time. It would be very, very profitable for you to do. So what you will actually find is that these projects will be very, very successful. So maybe consider doing something in writing or incorporating writing into your current workspaces. You could do something like songwriting, lyric writing, poetry, journalism, music writing. Any of these things will be really, really, really lucrative for you. So take full advantage. Also, another positive of this is narrow escapes as well. So if we're thinking about hightailing it, it is a really, really great opportunity over the next 2 years that there will be some very, very close calls, but you will be okay. On the negative aspects, what we want to be careful of is forgeries, theft of papers, bites from poisonous animals. This transit also relates to China, so expect to see some things from them. Okay, so the next thing that we're going to discuss is the conjunction with Uranus. So what this will bring on its positive aspects is that you will get lots of massive amounts of people moving towards different cryptocurrencies, moving in value, and also moving together as one. This can be increased things like patriotism. This can also be an indicator of a great awakening though. So what we can have is Uranus is our genius mind, and even though it is in debilitation in its current positioning, this can be a wake-up call for a lot of people to maybe change the way that they make money. It can be the way that they change the way that they value money and how they spend it. It can also be changes in friendship groups and people that they want to associate with. So this can have some really positive attributes to your life. On the negative aspects though, it can be another indicator of divorce. It can be really quick conflict, upheaval, rioting, terrorism attacks, couples breakups, and very quick legislation movements that will affect many, many people. So you can see a lot of, again, rioting in the streets about those sorts of matters. This can also bring issues with false friendships and also issues with the opposite sex as well. So keep your friends close and potentially your enemies closer under this transit. Okay, so now we're going to talk about Mars in opposition to the moon. So what that can mean is it can be conflict in between nations, so potentially war, but it's more likely to be limited supplies in contracts and things like that. So it can be underhanded, behind the scenes things that cause temporary issues, which will eventually be resolved quite quickly. It can bring issues with your neighbors as well, so a little bit of conflict there. It can give you an active mind and also ability to write better than you speak. So watch out for print media. It can also bring public honor and dignity. So this also has a relationship to Neptune, so it sextiles Neptune. So what we know about this is this can be the military traveling around to the homestead and administering medical treatment. Now, it can also be, on the positive aspects of this, it can be a suggestion that we'll have more military fashion, that you'll have more power of influence over people if you speak in an authoritative way under this energy. And it can also mean that selling art that relates to military styles, for example, will actually do better. This also means that it's encouraging you to style your hair. So you actually want to go big. So for men, you'll want to spike the hair, and for women, you'll actually want to make your hair buffy and curly. So kind of think big. The reason being is that actually helps you to draw in the positive aspects of this planetary transit and will actually help you to have greater influence over others. We're also going to talk about the aspect of Venus trining this moon. So what this means is you can actually make money out of getting in touch with people's emotional side. So if you can get people to create an emotional connection to a product, it will actually be rewarded under this energy. It also means that you can build intimate relationships and business relationships and be incredibly profitable with those if you act with Venusian behavior. So what you want to be doing is focusing on the sensual experience of that partnership and you will actually get monetary benefit from that. It is also beneficial to look into religious studies or also church and religious practice, because it will be a protective factor. And last but not least, it also trines Pluto. So this can mean things like, again, other symbols of death, but also transformation. So what we're going to find is that the business world may be using things like astrology or occult measures to actually make business predictions. So you can definitely do that, and it will be financially beneficial to do so. What we can also see is that there will be many transformations in the way that business structure and government actually run. What you will see is that both are seeking more and more power. You may also notice deaths in the royal family, for example. You can also notice that there will be issues with gambling, so gambling may become illegal. The ways in which we have fun, go to sporting events, and even our relationships can be more power-oriented in nature. So things like manipulation, power, and control will be things that you'll probably see more prevalently in relationships. However, when we have our North Node transit into South Node in Scorpio, that will cause a collapse of these things if they're built on dishonest measures. There will be many opportunities also under this transit to make money in scrupulous ways in business, but it will come with much regret, remorse, and ultimately cause suicide. Last but not least, let's talk about the Saturn aspects. So Saturn is trining the North Node, and it's also squaring the Uranus, and it's also squaring the Mars. So what that can mean is it will have serious delays with materials required for war. This can also mean that there is a divide between the rulers and the people, and that can cause things like revolt, civil war, etc. It can cause much disillusionment. It can cause a lot of love of flowers, which is a really interesting one. And it also means that government and businesses and soldiers are all heavily influencing the media at the present moment and the written language. So a lot of things is actually very, very controlled and restricted at the moment in terms of free language and free speech, which you can definitely see on even things like social media to an extent, or even print media, so journalists, etc. You will also see that having heavy restrictions in social structures and social support systems and networks, as well as continuing on influencing heavily the workforce and legislation relating to these factors. Thank you so much, Vortexes, for joining me in the Venus Vortex. I hope you enjoyed this video. Please let me know in the comment section below, and I hope you're having a fantastic day. Bye!